white people make fights out of, the Africans make good jokes out of and good relationships out of. Even dance around and fall out with laughter, arguing over something. Nobody resolved anything. They don't intend to resolve it because that means the argument is over and there's no more fun. They want to come back the next day and argue some more. So arguing become a marathon thing that you do. It's not like Dr. Ben and I arguing over dynasties. Or who paid the last dinner bill? I treated you the last time. It's my turn now. You treated me. My turn. It was nonsense. But we enjoy it. We ain't gonna ever settle it. We don't want to settle it. He knows that I know that the 18th dynasty was the greatest dynasty ever to sit on any throne in any time in the history of the world. And I know that he thinks that the 19th is the one. But I'm never going to concede to him. He's never going to concede to me. And we're not going to lose friends. We're not going to lose friendship over it. Because it's part of both of our culture. It's to choose a subject that has no end because we won't let it end. Another branch of the Zulus took over. Nearly everybody who became imperial in the world, this is true across the board, was once colonized by someone else. And that's where they got the idea of dominating others, because they were once dominated. The British were once a colony. All right. And so once they freed themselves from being a colony and remembered being a colony, they decided to colonize. All right, now, a group called the Mtiwa took over with the colonial masters of the Zulus. The father, the Zulu king, who's going to become Clarke's father, headed the regular Zulu group, while another king, Jobe, headed the dominant group. Ninda, who is going to be Clarke's mother, came out of the dominant group. In other words, she had a higher royal status than the man she married. The dialogue between them was a disgrace. Zulu dialogue, Zulu courtship is just something else. I mean, they sing praise songs to a woman and they hire a poet to compose poetry and stand in her path and recite it to her. Or you stand aside and see what impression it makes on her. I mean, the courtship is an elaborate thing. All of this before you consult her family, the two families consult themselves to see if there's a possibility of you getting together. All of this, you ain't touched her. You create elaborate ceremony, around her. Well, anyway, Clarke's father met this lady from the dominant house, and negotiation began for them coming together. Negotiation between the two respective families. Finally, it was agreed that she would join this other house. The house that she joined was the house her people dominated. She came from the Mtiwa group, then the colonial masters of the Zulus. Everything went well until the marriage and months passed, and the other 3 wives had given birth to girls, and she gave birth to a son, CLARKE, automatically making her the favorite wife. She had produced the warrior to carry on the tradition. The other wives grew jealous and began to tabulate the months between the marriage and the birth of the son. They assumed or said or proved or insinuated that the child had arrived too early, that there must have been some kind of relationship before the marriage, which is against custom, because the wives or future wives of Zulu kings supposed to be certified virgins. How you certify a thing like this, I don't know, but they're supposed to come to the king untouched in that regard. Now the gossipy wives started out on Nida, spreading rumors. Subsequently, they told the king, if you don't get rid of her, we will tell King Jobe, and he will rule you out of lineage and rule her out of the royal line. She now goes back to her people with her son. Now this is what the movie got wrong. The two with the children kidding him and kidding her for not having a man. Africans don't do this. Illegitimacy. First, what, his mother and father was married. What's illegitimate? How did that get into any place? Here's John Gunther in his book Inside Africa said he was in it, he was illegitimate. Illegitimate how? His mother and father were married. His father acknowledged that was his son. The mother acknowledged that his father was the father. So what's illegitimate? The main thing, Africans don't even use the word. The whole concept of illegitimacy is unknown in Africa. Then, as he grew up, when she came back to Zululand, one of the other wives, 2 of the other wives had given birth to sons. 2 of those 2 sons would someday be his assassins. His 2 half-brothers, Dingang, and the other half-brother. Now she leaves, goes back to her people, for CLARKE grows to early manhood. She seeks friends for him. And when he refused to fight, she tells him and explains to him that there's no other way to survive except fighting. In the film, when the boys kid him and throw him in the water, then she tells him in the future he'll never leave his enemies behind. All the South Africans are trying to say is that if Africans come to power, they're going to kill all of us. That's all they're trying to say. CLARKE left many enemies behind, so long as they realized that he was the boss of Southern Africa. All right, Clarke grew up, his mother sought friendships for him. His father did not see him again until he was 14 years old. Now all of this was left out of the film. This is a beautiful thing, ceremony. And when his father saw him, his father came to dress him for the ceremony of manhood. The ceremony of manhood is when the boy goes out into the bush, kills an animal, and brings back the mane. He has one spear, one shield. So that means he had nothing to practice on. He must find the heart of that animal the first shot, and he cannot afford to miss. And when he comes by, he is declared a man.